I've been playing golf for around 2 years, and I was able to turn this swing into this swing. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't do this with 0 lessons. I did take some lessons, but it's a very small amount. In the first month that I started golf, I took around 8 20-minute lessons. So it's a very small amount. And after that month, for the other 23 months, I improved my swing over and over again without any lessons. And if I can do it, anyone can. I'm not that athletic as a person. And today I'm gonna be sharing you my 3-step method on how to improve your swing. If you just apply this with any kind of problem you have over and over again, you will see massive improvements, okay? So let's get straight into it. Step 1 is to go on YouTube. A lot of professionals say they don't recommend YouTube. You should just go out and hit range balls.
What's the one tip that you would give an amateur if he or she wanted to just improve their game? Don't watch YouTube. Okay. What's the second one that's called balls?
Don't watch YouTube.
Don't hit balls. But just beating balls?
Just beating balls.
But if you're someone with a life, say a 9 to 5 or a wife or kids, you can't just hit balls out of the range and try to learn that way. That's for like junior golfers and people who have the time to do that. But for people like you and me, we need some source of information. And I think YouTube is a great place to go because over books, YouTube has a visual aspect to it, right? You're gonna see people explain with their bodies and things like that. So I think it's a very great resource. A lot of people think it's bad because give you false information or whatever, but if you're scared of false information, that's the whole point of getting better at something. You're gonna have to fail sometimes, right? Or get tricked sometimes. So you're gonna head to YouTube and whatever problem you're having, so whether it be a hook you're struggling with or a slice or a fat or thin shot or whatever the problem may be, you're just gonna search and search very simply. Like if you're just getting into the problem, just you don't have to go into so much detail like how to not cast the club in order to prevent a hook. Those kind of keywords you don't have to worry about. Just simple things like how to not hit a hook. And what you're gonna do is watch not only just one video, but watch at least 5. And some of them might be 8 minutes long, 20 minutes long. You're gonna have to sit through those videos and just kind of listen to what people are saying. There are gonna be things that each pro is saying in common. And from that, you're gonna be able to determine whether something is legit or not, right? That's why we are watching multiple videos. You never wanna watch one video and then take that information to the range and then realize that it doesn't apply to you, and then now you've wasted a good range session where you could have made it better. And this is the thing I'm talking about. When you watch multiple videos, you can produce a more fruitful range session. Another thing you want to watch out for is really determine if whatever that person is saying in that video is a fundamental thing or a feel thing, right? So let me give you an example. In golf, this is a fact. A wider arc, the more like the wider backswing you have, the wider downswing you have, the more speed you'll produce. That's actually physics. Like a larger radius will produce a larger torque. That's something fundamentally correct, right? But a feel version of that is something like, it feels like my club and I are getting further away from each other. Now, things like that can be really confusing because does that mean if my body is still? Like, do I go with my club? You know, these feel advice is very dependent on the person, how they interpret it, but an information that talks about the physics of something or like what really is going on, like a wider backswing produces a larger radius, and in physics, a larger radius produces a larger torque. Things like that, you know, it's not up to interpretation. It's a very clear fact. And from there, you can develop your own feel. When you watch these YouTube videos, make sure you're filtering out what is a fundamental idea versus a feel idea. And don't get tricked by a feel idea and just go by the feel because it's up to interpretation. Make sure if someone in the video suggests a feel, then you're gonna have to think about, okay, why does this feel work? Fundamentally, what is it about this feel that makes this golf swing better, right? The more videos you watch, the easier that is. So that's why I suggest you watch multiple videos on the same topic. And then once you've watched those 5 videos, what you're gonna do next is write down what you wanna experiment at the range session. Never just put it in your head like, oh, I'm gonna try this when I get to the range. Don't do that. just writing it down will make a much better range session, much more worthwhile range session. So you're going to write down things like maybe a feel that you thought would be good, fundamentally what's going on. Write them down on your phone or piece of paper, whatever have you. And then you're going to go to the range, okay? And don't watch too many videos. Like I think 5 to 10. 10 is like a lot. 5 is a really good number. You'll realize that, oh, okay, so a lot of people are saying to fix a slice, you're gonna have to stop coming over the top. So what are some fundamental things I wanna do? What are some feel things I wanna do? Bring that paper to the range. Now, the second big step, the big second pillar step is experimenting. Now you're at the range, and here's two things that I want you to keep in mind. Number one, when you're experimenting, either the ball does not go straight or the ball does not go the distance. Keep that in mind, okay? There's no experiment where you're gonna be able to catch two of those rabbits, distance and accuracy, okay? When you're experimenting, you're gonna realize that, okay, maybe I'm giving up distance. I'm only trying to see the ball go straight, right? Or trying to see the ball go left. Something like that. Distance and accuracy is a inverse relationship in golf. You will never, something that will help your distance will always come at a sacrifice with your accuracy. And if you want to catch both rabbit, you're gonna have to put in a lot of time. Okay, anyways, just keep that in mind when you do an experiment. A lot of people, when they start experimenting new feels, either the ball doesn't go straight or the ball doesn't go a full distance, or they don't even catch both rabbits. Like the distance and accuracy is not there. But that's the whole point of an experiment, right? You're trying to see what works and what doesn't. Don't just give up on that feel immediately. If you know, especially if you know if it's fundamentally correct, I'd stick with it. Now, if it's a feel thing, so it's not fundamental, then maybe after 3 tries, you want to maybe throw that feel away. But if it's something fundamentally correct and you truly researched it and you know it's correct, you don't want to just get discouraged by one slice or one fat shot, right? You're going to keep experimenting and kind of tell your body what this new swing is going to be like. So just keep that in mind. Ball does not go straight, or maybe it doesn't go the distance when you're experimenting. And the second thing is study the ball flight. You know what's better than a TrackMan? You know what's better than a full swing simulator? You know what's better than a G-Site Sports, whatever, all those simulator is ball flight. Like real life, right? That's not a simulation, it's a real thing, right? That's gonna be the most accurate information you get. You're gonna have to study how different ball flights are produced. So I'm gonna put up a diagram right now. You wanna either pause it now or actually take the time later to kind of study it. Try to study what produces a start right, curve left, maybe a start left, curve right. The club face and your club path are very easy to tell what you did by just looking at the ball flight. Keep studying the ball flights at the range and see what you did with your club path and club face. Because usually those two things will determine what improves your golf swing, okay? Those are the two things you want to keep in mind when it comes to experimenting. Now, let's say you have a fundamental or a feel that you repeated for 3 times and they were all good shots. Like something feels like it clicked. It feels like it clicked for 3 times. That's a very noteworthy feel. Like I would say 3 times is something very good, right? It's not solve all, but it's very good. It happens once, it's luck. Happened twice, it can still be luck. But 3 times, something's going on. So if something works well, let's say you start sending your drive extremely far, or you send your wedge extremely straight 3 times in a row, that's something you want to write down immediately. So go back to your notes and write down what happened to this experiment. This feel worked for me. This fundamental worked for me. Something like you want to write that down immediately, okay? Now, this is the third and final step, and this is the final thing where you're gonna have to maybe invest a little. Maybe you're gonna have to buy a tripod, and you're gonna basically self-film. And I know sometimes people who haven't been self-filming, you go to the range and you see people filming themselves and they look kind of ridiculous, but it's very helpful. Just watch this interview from Nelly Korda.
I grew up in an academy setting where I had a coach behind me, and after every shot he would tell me, oh, if my positions were good. But then when you're by yourself, which a majority of the time when I'm practicing I am, it's hard to know if one swing was good and one swing was not, if my positions, because your feel is different every day. So that's why I over obsess with videoing. It's just to check to see if I'm actually hitting the positions I want.
So even people on the tour are doing it, and I think anything that the tour people do is something not to just ignore, right? These are guys and girls who've been playing for years and they are playing for millions of dollars, so they probably won't do anything that's productive to them. So you're gonna self-film. And not only are you gonna watch, this is the important step of the third and last step, the most important part is, you're gonna take that video and you're gonna bring it home, okay? So whether you learned an experiment or you learned a good feel, doesn't matter. You're gonna, at the end of the day, you're gonna have a batch full of videos. Make sure to take them down the line and face on. If you don't know what down the line means, these kind of videos are down the line and these kind of videos are face on. Bring a batch of those videos and you're gonna come home and you're gonna compare your videos to the millions and millions of good swings on the internet. Rory, Jason Day, Adam Scott. These guys all have very fundamentally good swings. So you're just gonna put the video side by side or just have your phone next to you with your monitor on and just kind of play through and look for differences. What you wanna try next in the range. Rory starts firing the hips a lot later than me. So you write that down and you wanna try that out. So now you have another set of experiment. And then you're gonna keep repeating this process. Problem, YouTube, experiment, tour swing comparison. YouTube experiment, tour swing comparison. YouTube experiment, tour. And you're gonna just keep going around that cycle for every range session. Now, never, ever, 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 ever do this on the course, right? That is not the place to do this. On the course, you should just be thinking about nothing. Just trying to get this ball in the hole. That's all you should do. But when you're at the range, just keep experimenting, keep repeating this process, and slowly you'll be introduced to new problems, right? And that's when you repeat it again. Usually in golf, in your swing, when you hit new problems, it's actually a sign of improvement. Let's say you're someone who slices it a lot, and then somehow you fix something and then now you're hooking it a lot. I think that's a great sign, right? Like you're able to understand how to not do one thing, right? So you're gonna have to just learn how to not do this thing and then it'll go straight, right? Technically, like theoretically. You fix one problem after the other, and you'll see your swing improve a lot. While you're here on YouTube, thank you so much for clicking on my video, by the way, just like the problem you're having, how to stop hitting a slice, and watch 5 videos and get started writing down on a piece of paper or your phone what you want to experiment at the range.